Can you hear the drummer in my building?
No, actually, I
Oh,
can't.
really?
Not at all.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, must
I
be good.
sure can.
Yeah,
If it's
must be.
okay.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well,
I guess your mic must be good at not picking that up.
yeah, I guess so. Well, it probably is picking it up. It's just I won't hear it till I go and edit it. But this software I got to get rid of background noise is really nice, and I
Yeah,
don't really worry about the drums nearly as much anymore because I know I have that option.
yeah, right. Yeah. Uh, it's like, yeah, it's hard when you work in a recording studio, I guess, especially one that's a bit of a shared space. But for whatever it's worth, yeah, I don't hear it at all. I haven't heard it at all, and so
That's
far,
nice.
no, none of the users have said, "Hey guys, great podcast, but there's a drummer in the back you might want to talk to." That hasn't
Yeah,
happened yet. Nobody's ever said that. So based on that, I think we
yeah.
should be okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can base things on a lack of feedback.
Yeah.
Other
Yes.
times you base it on feedback, but
Yeah.
we'll base that on a lack of feedback, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No, 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 no feedback in this case is good. We don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. How's your week been?
It's great. Better. Yeah, my daughter was sick last week, which, yeah, if she when once when your kid gets sick, everything just pretty much goes out the window because they're pretty much the highest, most demanding thing. So you just work and live your life around that. But it's better. It's much better now. She's 3 years old, so she has some form of immunity. When she was smaller, it was harder. She was getting sick like almost every few 2-3 weeks in the winter out here. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm grateful that she's getting better, but yeah, we still have like we have to deal with it when she gets sick. But she's okay now, so this week is so
I'm
far looking
hearing that.
easier. Yeah, I
It's
hope it
like,
is at
man,
least.
parents have to like find that balance, I guess, between
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh making their kids live a life that's too clean so they build up zero immunity
yeah,
and then they catch a cold when they're 40 and it just wipes them out.
yeah.
Or
You,
they versus being the complete opposite of that. It's like you don't want to go too far in either direction or something, right?
yeah, you don't want to live in a bubble. Definitely not. I mean, it's yeah, it's something that I think now, if you of course, just like with everything else in the world, there are people who are peddling that as influencers online too, saying,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, yeah, you gotta let your kids play in the mud. Surprise, surprise, it's been happening for years, and
Yeah,
that's probably the reason why you and I are still here, because our grandparents played in the mud and didn't get wiped out when some crazy pandemic hit.
we play in the mud as our grandfathers did. Carry the legacy. It's true though, and I feel like especially for a man, like don't cripple your son by turning him into we all know that adult man who just can't stop using hand sanitizer. You don't necessarily want your son to turn into that guy because
Yeah. He's got a
I
direct
don't know
line
if
to the
that's
Purell
attractive.
company. It's like
Yeah.
got like a monthly shipment coming in. I mean, it's definitely gotten worse after the pandemic, but yeah, I feel like most people have recovered. But my God, I remember during the pandemic, my hands got so dry from just the sheer amount of sanitizer I would have to put like everywhere. I
Yeah.
would I would walk into like anything, any kind of establishment, and they would be like, "Okay, sanitize your hands, please." And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah,
Yeah, we all did our part.
like we said, they told us eggs were bad for us. Now they're
Yeah,
okay. Then
now
they're
they're
gonna be
okay.
bad again.
Yeah,
And then they tell us to sanitize our hands, and then they say, "Don't do that. It'll kill all your natural flora or what
yeah,
fauna. Yeah, fauna on the natural bacteria you need on your body. It'll kill
yeah.
it, and then you'll have no immunity or whatever." And before you know it, they'll be back to hand sanitizing.
Big lie, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like right now, for example, I mean, people aren't like the biggest Trump fan, but there's people out there who are like talking about Iran like a victim, and I'm like, oh my God, do do you guys realize like that they aren't really that good of a government? Like they have been
Yeah.
pretty repressive. So let's not get too carried away with
Yeah. It's a good
sympathizing.
way to allow the virtue signalers to identify themselves so you know who they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
when you see the extreme white liberal raising their hand and just stomping their feet about something where you're kind of like you're not the leader of black people, right? Like you're white, right? Like me, like I'm white. Yeah, they
yeah,
didn't elect you
that's
their mayor. You're
yeah.
not the mayor of black people. That's okay.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
is. I mean, can we all just agree to come back to the middle a little bit? Like, let's go a little
God,
Buddhist
for
out here.
real.
Walk the middle path, man. Come on. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like I feel like there's a bunch of people who have gone to the right and a bunch of people who have gone to the left, and then there's the rest of us who are stuck in the middle. Because the ones on the left and right are just the loudest voices in the room, and the ones in the middle are just like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
can
The
we
loudest
talk about
voice
other
is
stuff?"
usually the last one you really should listen to, but it's the first one you hear.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if
Sadly.
I've said this before, but more and more people need to watch Beauty and the Beast. I think I've said this because you need to watch Beauty and the Beast. You need to see how Gaston
I knew where you were
gets
going.
this crowd just riled up about this beast who we've seen the whole way is actually a nice beast. He has a good heart, but Gaston has no problem just getting the whole town riled up with pitchforks
Oh yeah,
and firing torches and women waving handkerchief from the window bidding
yeah.
farewell to the brave men off to
Throwing
fight.
their bonnets in the air.
Yes, and you're just like, no.
I know, I know, and it helps that Gaston is like a 6'5", good-looking guy with a cleft in his chin,
Yeah, who has
the
a
size of a
booming
moon
voice
crater.
and like
Everybody
a
listens.
yeah, and like the yeah, and like the like a yeah, he's yeah,
Just look at him.
yeah,
You
like
can tell he knows what he's talking about.
he wouldn't mislead us, would he?
Yeah, yeah. I like his ponytail. Oh my
Oh man,
god,
yeah, I'm pretty
dude.
sure I've said this before. It's something that I am just like, yeah, I'm just like, wow. I feel like people have forgotten the teachings of that great movie.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Even know where we are anymore. Like I said, I kind of bury my head in the sand. But
Yeah.
it is really funny when people jump onto a bandwagon that seems like the more virtuous option and just
Yes.
has the
Yes.
right ring to it that they want to hear. And it's like, listen, did you really investigate this?
Yeah.
And by the way, it's like, uh, um, I didn't want to go to war. I didn't want this
Nobody
war. I
does.
don't want to
Yeah.
do this. I don't want
Yeah.
know what the fuck they're doing, but
Yeah.
or we're doing. But it's like at the same time, it's also like on the polar opposite side, you've got these people. We're protecting a thousands of years old culture, and it's like, well, yeah, there's that side of it, and I'm sure there are beautiful aspects to the Iranian culture. I guarantee there are some of the foods they eat and the cooking that the
Yeah.
women do that they know how to do a certain way, and some of these cultural nuances that would probably be really fun and beautiful to experience. But at the same time, you should remember that if you're gay, they probably want to kill you.
Yeah.
If you're a trans person, you know what? Guess what? You're free to do that here in the States. You go try do that in Iran.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound like freaking Tucker Carlson or some Republican right now, but I mean,
Yeah.
for God's sake, like, come to
Yeah.
the middle, like, get away from that extreme. Like,
Yeah.
you're,
You're not doing anyone any favors. Like you're not contributing to like a constructive argument. You're just kind of like trying to make sure your loud voice is the one that prevails, and
yeah,
that doesn't mean you're correct. Speaking more about the government, yeah, the government that's oppressive, the oppressive government, not so much the people, because like the people are just like you and me. They're just trying to
yes,
live their life, raise kids, and
yes.
like basically have all the things that people crave these days.
Yeah,
Like
probably have some freaking delicious dates over there too, and
yeah, yeah, they do.
boy
Yeah,
do
they
I
do.
love dates.
Yeah, yeah. They probably have fig trees there too. I know you like figs, so
I do.
yeah,
Oh
maybe
man.
we can use that as a segue to move into
Yeah.
a more fun topic,
Yeah, yeah.
which
By the way, you know how I said in an earlier episode that people always ask me always ask me what ethnicity I am?
yeah, yes, yes,
Even though I'm just a white kid. But like
yes, yes.
just the other day, somebody, speaking of Middle Eastern people, just the other day, somebody, this girl asked me, she was like, are you Middle Eastern? Or she was, yeah, she was like, are you Middle Eastern? And I was like, no, not that not that I know of. I don't believe so. And I was like, why do you think I look Middle Eastern? And she was like, no. And I was like, do you just ask everyone that?
Like, how did you?
Like, where did you ask me that if you don't think I look Middle? Yeah, it's funny.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I
Where did
don't
that
know. I
question
don't
emerge
know
from?
where these people come out of the woodworks. It's really funny. But I'm
That's
not
great.
gonna. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really
It's
fun.
harmless. It's
It's
harmless.
harmless. It's
Yeah.
funny. I like it. Yeah, it's funny. But
One day you should
okay,
just go with it. You should just
I
go with it.
total. Yeah, you're right.
You should.
I
Yeah.
should. You're so right. I should be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I am Middle Eastern.
Yeah, yeah, because
And she'll be
you
like,
can do an
yeah,
accent. You can just you can do an accent if you really
right,
like put your mind to it, and
right.
you can and if
Maybe
if
I'll
they already
practice
have
it.
that preconception and you start throwing the accent, they're not going to correct you out of like this kind of like guilt that they might be putting your culture down.
Yeah,
So
totally.
you can go with
Maybe I'll
it.
do the same thing when people tell me I look like someone who I don't want to be compared to. They'll be like, "You look like Josh Groban." I'll be like, "Oh, that's you know what? I am actually. I
You
am
should be
Josh
like, I am.
Groban."
That's my brother. You should.
Whoa, oh, holy night. Sing one of those. He probably does that song, Holy
He
Night, but I'm not
probably
sure.
does. He probably does.
I
Josh
feel like he
Groban
does.
does a lot of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a crooner. He's a
he's a
lifelong
crooner.
crooner. He
Yeah,
was crooning in the crib. The doctor had to put a pacifier in his mouth just to stop him from crooning. Oh, silliness. Silly me.
Josh
So,
Cronenberg. Just kidding.
just crooning.
Josh
Jo-
Grobenberg.
oh, yeah.
We
Josh, Josh Cronin. Croonin. I don't know. Actually, I wanted to say this. This is a really great thing
Mm-hmm.
is that today, I don't know if you remember this, Karan,
Mm-hmm.
today is our 20th episode that we've done.
20th episode.
It's our 20th episode. The last one was our 19th. This is our 20th.
Oh, ho, ho.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
I couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah. Couldn't have done without you guys cheering in the
I
background.
love these guys.
Yeah. These guys are great. You guys are great.
God, I
Thank
could
you.
listen to that all day.
Thank you.
I just love them. Yeah.
They just
Yeah, keep it going. A little longer. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
20 episodes. That's pretty
20th
awesome.
episode.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty awesome.
what I read is that, and I think I told you this, but apparently only, and I'm not afraid to brag about it because we earned it.
Yeah.
But I think, but I read that as a statistical fact, only 1% of all podcasts, and I'm not talking about just the 5 or 10 podcasts that are uber famous. I'm talking about all
Right.
podcasts that people
Right.
start, including those that are uber famous. So all podcasts in the world, of all podcasts, only 1% of them make it to 20 episodes. That's insane. I can't believe we made it. It's so great.
That is amazing. I mean, it's just, it's really what's the craziest to me is it doesn't even feel like it's been 20. Like it's
That's
just,
a good sign, I
yeah,
think.
it's like, yeah.
I think that
mean,
means we may make it to 40. You know
we
what
might,
I mean?
we might make it to 40.
Yeah, why
We
why
might
not?
go- yeah, why not?
So I wanted to, if you don't mind, I just had a couple of quick words I'd like to say. Nothing overdone, nothing dramatic, but just a couple of things I'd like to
make me
say
cry. Don't
in regards to our show.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible for me to believe this fateful day has finally come. This golden day when our show, The Berngati Show, reached its 20th episode. Yet somehow, in my heart of hearts, I always knew that it would. Today is a day that shall be remembered and shall echo in the halls of the human soul for a dozen generations to come. Generations of Mashburns and Mumigatis, and of that guy in Utah who listens, and that person in Uruguay. Our great-great-grandchildren will sing songs of this day when our show surpassed 99% of all other podcasts in reaching episode number 20. I'd like to take a moment to thank you, the devoted listeners, and of course my faithful partner, Karan, for coming along on this journey. And I don't know where this winding old road will lead us. I don't know what perils or trials may lie ahead on this noble and glorious path. But I know that we have made it this far together. And I believe with all of the power vested in me that we shall vanquish whatever challenges may come our way. And in the end, when the trumpets have sounded and the angels have sung, the Berngati Show shall indeed prevail. Thank you. Thank you!
How many times did you rehearse that? Just wondering.
A few. A few.
It was pretty epic. Yeah. That band you hired was really going at it at some point. Like they were determined to like, overpower you with their trumpeting.
They pretty much did. I could barely hear myself speak. I wasn't able to get the volume down before going for it. Could you hear me at all?
I could, but towards the end it was definitely getting hard.
Yeah, so anyway, here we are, 20th episode. Couldn't have done it without all of the guy in his uncle's basement and all the rest.
Right. Yeah.
So, do we have any updates we want to share from you or from me? Do you have anything you want to share? You kind of shared a little bit about, we're glad Zoe is better.
Yes.
So we got that update.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide which update.
I was going to say, it sounds like you might have a few because we haven't done this in some time, but yeah. The only other update we have out here is that summer is coming, which is always great. I'm sure most people who live in the northern hemisphere are seeing like just the pure awesomeness of summer coming. This is the awesome part where it's getting warm, but it's not like scorching hot just yet. So everyone's out smiling, having a good time, So it's always nice because boy, does winter suck for us.
Oh man.
Yeah, we get so much of rain here. This is technically a rainforest. I didn't know that, but
really,
yeah, in my mind, a rainforest is where I came from in India, where there's monsoons and we have tropical like rainforests out there with a lot of biodiversity. But here, this area actually, I didn't know that, but Vancouver, Seattle area is considered rainforest.
Definitely way different than Toronto, right?
Yeah, tons, way different. Yeah, if you like your environment and nature, definitely this is the place to be. But yeah.
Do you definitely like Vancouver more than Toronto?
I do. Yeah, okay. I do. I mean, I've always been more of a West Coast fan. That goes for the US too. I way prefer the West Coast of the United States over like my time in the East. But that being said, I used to live in upstate New York, and it has its own charm because it's really nice too. Like it has like that great small town charm. And me being a Stephen King fan, like
Oh
I
yeah.
was always liking that because I was like, yeah, this kind of reminds me of this book. This
Oh, this gutter reminds me of it.
Yeah, exactly. It is probably Stephen King's most yeah,
Yeah,
best
famous.
small town, yeah,
Oh
most
yeah,
famous
yeah.
small town
Derry, the
story.
town of Derry.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
did you see the newer
No,
It?
I haven't seen
What?
any of I haven't seen
What?
yeah, I don't
Dude, get
yeah.
on that shit. It's pretty fucking good.
I bet, yeah. I think once like yeah, Zoe's a little older, like I said, I will. Right now, like
Yeah, I mean, you
it's too
definitely don't
hard
want to watch
to
it with
yeah.
her.
Yeah, not only that, but like when I'm done, like I'm just like the 1 hour I have to myself, I just like relax and watch something that I don't doesn't take up too much of my mental health mental capacity.
Yeah,
So yeah,
makes
but
sense.
yeah, that's pretty much it for me. What updates you
Yeah, I
got?
like it. Nice.
Yeah.
What updates do I have? Well, hmm, let's see. I don't know which update to go with, but I guess I have to just pick one. I'll make this. Try to make this one quick, but there was.
Don't make promises you can't keep. Sorry, I had to.
Ah,
You set me up for that one.
I did. I teed that ball up, and
I couldn't
yeah,
resist spiking that volleyball.
yeah, you hit that pinata down the fairway.
All right,
So,
yeah, let's hear it.
all
Let's hear
right.
it.
So there was. All right. So recording acoustic guitar is really hard.
Yo, wow, yeah.
Especially in a. Karan, have you ever recorded guitar? That's a genuine
No,
question. I don't know if you have.
not. I mean, yes, like amateur, hour
Okay.
wise, yes, but never like professionally to the point where I have to make sure everything is just really nice and everything. But yeah,
Right.
never that.
You know, it's funny how many things in life are really hard. And it's like when you're in the midst of it, you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? It's so hard. But
Hmm.
I think that without the difficulty of it, I mean, this is maybe a cliche thing to say, but I think it's true that without the difficulty of it, I don't know if it would be as satisfying at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I feel about recording and like is like sometimes it's so hard. Like, and so I'll use this acoustic guitar example because it's from this week, so it's current. But like, there was this one guitar part in one of my songs that um I always like I had been kind of looking for the right guitar for it for a long time. I mean, honestly, like when people say things like, "Oh, it should take X amount of time to record that type of part," or "It should take an hour to record a guitar part," or "It should take an hour to," and it's like, you know, when Billy Corgan was recording with Butch Vig and they were recording his song, that one that starts out with that riff that's like, I'm
Oh yeah,
slaughtering the tuning of it, but
yeah, yeah.
when he was recording that, it's kind of a clean guitar part. They spent just like, I mean, like days or like at least a whole day just trying to get the sound of that riff right. A lot of times with guitar recording, what you end up doing is like spending hours getting the tone perfect because
Hmm.
that's kind of the hardest part. Like assuming the part is written and you can play it already, which
Yeah,
usually that is the case. The hardest part is going to be dialing in the tone that you really want. And again, the more quirky or the more specific that guitar part is, or the more sort of like character it needs to have to work in the song, the harder it usually is to find the perfect tone for it. And
right.
the longer you'll spend chasing it and trying to find it. Whenever I finally find a tone that I really like, I always write down the exact settings, like where did I put the mic, where did I move the dials on the amp to, which guitar pickup was I using, all that stuff,
Right.
which pedal and where did I have the knob turned to on the pedal, the guitar pedal. So it's
Right.
all those things make a difference. So I always write them down because it's so hard to get a sound back.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one thing you learn when you're recording acoustic guitar and vocals is that, especially acoustic guitar, is that depending on where you angle your body and the guitar and the microphone, like depending on which side of the room the microphone is pointing towards, it honestly makes a huge difference in the way the guitar recording sounds. And so you have to sort of, try like 4 different positions of where am I sitting. There's a lot of trial and error and testing. And, for a couple of my songs in particular, I had a very specific vibe in mind of what I was chasing for the acoustic guitar, and it kind of had to work. It's like I have to find the perfect way that I want the guitar to carry, the acoustic guitar to carry itself in the song. And sometimes it's kind of challenging for me.
Okay.
But so I had this other song that was kind of like I Don't Want to Die, in that the acoustic played a pretty damn prominent role in the song. And honestly, like for years, I had tried different acoustic guitars for it. I was never 100% satisfied with them. And I'm like, I have to nail the way this sounds to make people enjoy this song and make me enjoy this song. This acoustic guitar has to be just right. I bought one from with in the back of my mind kind of thinking, I'll get the part with this guitar, and then if I'm not like so in love with it that I'm like, I have to keep this, I'll just return it. Cause I mean, it's like, it's $4,000, dude. Like I should fall in love with it. I started trying to record the part. Sure enough, it was taking way longer than I predicted. I am not good at predicting how long things will take.
You should have released a live rattlesnake in the studio to add more excitement to
There pretty
this.
much was a live rattlesnake in the studio, which was my stress, because I was like, oh my God, this is taking longer than I planned. As I was getting deeper into recording it, I started to think, oh my God, this guitar sounds so damn good. This is the best sounding acoustic guitar I've ever heard. This is like
Right.
amazing. Like, I love this guitar. Oh my God, I'm falling in love with this guitar.
Yeah.
But I was
Oh my
like, because
God.
I bought it using my gear card, which is essentially a credit card, but you
Okay.
get it for a certain number of months interest free, which is cool, but it's still $4,000. And I still hadn't finished recording the part yet because so many drummers had been coming in, and then I had to wait and come back a different time. So I was like, all right, look, I'll just keep the guitar. So called my wife and told her. She's kind of like, why would you, like, she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is the most amazing guitar. It's amazing. It's better than the others. And she was like, that's what you say with every new guitar. She's like, I've heard this before. And I was like,
I've
no,
heard
it's
these
different.
lines before.
I was like, it's different this time. Literally sounded like me like arguing without a new girlfriend who the
Yeah.
whole family thinks is toxic, and I'm like, you don't know her.
She loves me for me.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it was like. And I'm like, yeah. So it's man, yeah. So because you form like relationships with musical instruments. But so what ended up happening though, oh my God, was this is like that iPhone story I
So, do
told
you
that
have
went
a
on
four
way too
thousand
long.
dollar guitar now, or is it like
No, so this is what happened is I can't I took it back on the last day when I could still return it, and I
okay?
had my receipt and I had the guitar. I go up to the desk and I was like, "Hey guys," and they're like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And I was like,
This guitar sucks. I don't want
"This guitar is a piece of junk.
it.
This Martin 0028 sounds like an old horn. It's awful.
$4,000 for this honky tonk.
$4,000 for this rusty mule. Take it back to your shop." So I took it back and I was like, guys, I really want to keep this, but I have to return it unless there's a way, because the guy who set me up with this guitar actually set me up on the 6-month payment plan
Okay.
instead of the 48-month payment plan, because the Gear card offers these different plans. So
Right.
the 48 months interest-free payments, it makes $4,000 a lot easier to swallow.
Sure. Sure.
But what the guy sold it to me, he signed me up for the 6 months payments, and it was like $200 a month, and then after 6 months, it's gonna start charging me interest. And I was like, all right, I can't afford that. I can't afford these payments right now, and I can't,
Right.
gas is astronomically expensive. I just did my taxes, all this.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of just told them, like, look, if there's a way that you can switch this to the 48-month payment plan, I could keep this guitar, and I want to keep it, but I can only do it if you switch it to that.
Okay.
And so the manager comes out and materializes, and his name was and he's like, I got you, come in my office. And he like
Step into my office.
he's like treating me like I'm like treating me
Want a
like
soda?
royalty.
You want a soda? Trisha, get him a soda.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, come on back in my office. He like shoos the other employees aside like they're pigeons.
Get out of
And
here.
he
Get the
pulls
hell
me.
out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. Come on, Brian. And he pulls me into his office, and I sit down, and he's like, have a seat. You want a cigar? No. He sits me down, and he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, well, I got to get this to 48 months instead of the 6 months. And he's like, hold it, give me 1 second. He like clickety clacks on his computer. And he's like, you know what? I've only done this once before, but I'm able to do this override on like a previous payment plan. I can switch you to that 48 months. No problem. He's like, no problem. I can get you on that 48 months. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so he gave me a pat on the back, and I'm like, I go on my way, and then it dawns on me as I'm leaving. I'm like, I have no guarantee whatsoever that he will follow through on switching my plan. I mean, he didn't really give me any proof of it. He
Yeah.
just talked my ear off for a long time, convincing me of it. Like it really sounded like he could do it, but the details weren't nailed down, and I had no written proof
Right.
that he was going to do this. I did, however, have a text message. He started a text message chain with me and linked in a picture of my receipt.
Okay.
So I did have proof that he and I were trying to do this switch to the 48-month plan, but I had no proof that it would happen. And that was my last day to return the guitar. Because again, I procrastinated until the last minute. So it was kind of it was a very stressful, scary position for me to be in, because I felt like this is my last chance to return it, and I'm kind of going on this guy's word. So I called him, and I was like, hey, I was like, you're sure you can do this, right? Because it's kind of my last day to return it. And he's like, well, he was like, listen, if you want to return it, you can return it anytime. It doesn't, if it doesn't work, or if you change your mind, you can always return it. It's fine. And I was like, all right, well, that makes me feel better. I still had nothing written, so it was still stressful. Anyway, cut to the end. It was just a really stressful situation that I basically created for myself by putting off, just with poor planning, and by like putting off this thing until the last minute. My God, it was just I mean, and then it ends on a happy note, which is that because I waited a couple of days for him to get this 48-month, for him to switch me onto the 48-month payment plan. And it was a stressful couple of days. And finally I was like, I can't take this stress. I don't know when this, and I was like, I'm going to probably go return this guitar today, because he told me that I can return it any time, even though it's past the return deadline. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give one more try to get this part. Hopefully there's no drummers, but either way, I'm going to return it today. I lucked out. There were no drummers for like 5 hours straight.
Nice.
And I got the whole part recorded. So there's a little story behind that guitar part now. So I got the part, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to return this guitar. I contacted the manager, and he said that I could return it, because he still hadn't gotten anything like super definitive back from. He kind of misled me. I mean, he kind of made a promise. He made it sound like a really sure thing, and it kind of wasn't completely. I mean, he claimed he did get me switched over to it, but he was like, yeah, you won't see it reflected for 3 payment cycles.
Okay.
And it's like, are you kidding? I'm going to wait 3 months to know for sure that you switched me to this better payment plan? Like, no.
Right.
This is $4,000. I can't afford to be stuck with some giant payments every month. So
Right.
he did keep to his word to allow me to return the guitar, and I returned the guitar. But the beautiful part is I got the part recorded, and it's done. That freaking acoustic guitar part that's been taking up bandwidth in my brain for years is finally done. So I'm really happy about that. And that's the update.
Nice. Awesome. Once this episode's out, I'm gonna find from to send it to him. Just kidding.
Had a feeling you might,
That's awesome. No,
you
well,
rascal.
well, you got to do what you got to do. But I guess this is why. I mean, I know we live in a do-it-yourself culture right now because that's frankly, that's the reality of the world. Like people, not everyone can afford crazy studio time and studio space. But I guess this is why, back in the day, like if you had a studio behind you, you didn't have such problems, right? Because they paid for studio time, they paid for instruments, they paid
Yeah.
for like a guy who would come in and be responsible for
Well,
making sure
they
you
sort
record
of they
good thing.
fronted you the money.
Okay, okay,
They did
yeah,
well. They weren't really paying for it because they would take it out of what the band would go on to earn,
right,
and
yes, yes,
the label would literally give them hundreds of thousands of dollars up front to record in the studio because it is damn expensive to record in the studio.
yeah, really,
And then the band would spend weeks or however long, and well, depends how much money they got, and they would work it out and record it in the studio, and they would have enough time to do the biggest thing about recording. I mean, anybody can pay for a day. You can save up $1,000 or a couple $1,000 and go spend a day recording stuff in a professional studio. But the problem is if you're picky, or if your songs are sort of require certain unique things that you're looking for, you'll probably need more time than you think to like dial in the exact tones and stuff you want. I mean, if
right,
you're really prepared and you know exactly what tones you want going in, and your songs have sort of a simple arrangement, you could conceivably go in and in one day track a few songs with your band or whatever. But it's just there's just also a lot of scenarios where that's not going to work for you. And
right,
it's never
right,
worked for me. And Lord knows that I have tried it. Like, you remember, Curran, back when I used to fly to Amarillo, Texas, and try to record
yes.
in the studio that Steven worked for.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that used to be like a regular thing that you would do.
semi-regular. Yeah.
Yeah, where you would.
Whenever I had saved up a little money,
Yeah, and you
I,
would like
yeah,
once you had like a few ideas and everything lined up, you would take a trip out there
I would
just
take a
to
trip out. And
yeah.
I always ran up against, I mean, a similar set of problems. And one of the biggest of those problems was that I just was really limited for time, and I didn't have a full band. So it was kind of just me, this solo artist who had these electric guitar parts and different parts. And I just didn't have my exact sound completely figured out before going into the studio. And my young self thought, I'll figure it out in the studio. And that was my biggest, blind spot, because unless you have a massive budget, you won't have time to quote figure things out in the
Right,
studio. You need to already have it exactly figured out to the last detail before you
right,
set foot in there. And
right.
I
Yeah,
don't know if if a lot of people know that or not, but it's definitely a big thing. And so anyway, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, because you're paying for time. Like it's basically like if you want to go meet a doctor or a lawyer, you don't want to spend the first hour just oohing and ahhing. You got to like know what you want to talk about and kind
yeah.
of make, because you're paying for that time. So it's the
That's
same thing with
exactly
studio.
it. When you go talk to a lawyer who's charging $500 an hour, you don't want to just poke around in there. Like, you want to have your list of questions,
So you
Sprint it out or
graduated from
whatever.
law from Harvard, huh? Yeah, yeah. I used to go to school in Massachusetts. It's like,
Well, Kelvin went to Harvard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to be like doing small talk. You want to get
You
to
want to
business. Like
get
you want to get to
right
work.
to it.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of younger artists or a lot of young bands probably have had a similar experience that I had at one time of wasting a lot of money. I mean, I probably blew, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 grand, over the trips that I made, maybe probably more actually. And didn't really get anything that I'm ending up keeping from it.
mm,
Because we were kind of firing shots in the dark, and I just didn't have my sound figured
yeah,
out yet. But you know,
yeah,
bless our hearts, we did, we really tried.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
that's that's a tough process. Like I mean, if you watch any like music documentary about how they came up with an album, it's not like they went in and like finished it in like a week. It's usually like took some time. They did something, waited a few days, listened to it, didn't like it, went back, changed it. Like there's a lot that happens behind the scenes.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough process for sure because especially with rock music, I imagine because you need to kind of like give each instrument its due, make sure it's kind of
yeah.
like
It's like it's like, man, that what you just said exactly is that if you have songs that are sort of generic pop songs, and when
yeah,
I say generic, I don't mean that they're not great songs. I mean they're generic in that they essentially have a pretty conventional sound,
right,
that we've heard before, or at least heard versions of before. But you just maybe you've written great songs, but it's just there's not like riffs, there's not like a quirky bass part. It's just a good song. If you're
right,
in that position, let's say like a Taylor Swift type, where I think for the most part, especially her early songs, they were just kind of like a solo artist on an acoustic guitar strumming and
yeah,
singing along. That's the easiest thing for a producer to flesh out into a finished product, because there's nothing super complicated in what they have to figure out. They can just bring in, it can be like, oh, I know what this is. This is pop. This is this type of pop. And so, or this is this type of country. So they just bring in their army of, they bring in their session players who they know, a guitarist, a bassist, a drummer, whatever, a keyboardist. And they're, hey, Bob, can you come over at 3:00? I got this young girl, Taylor. I just want to lay down some keyboard on her track. And I'm making this up. I don't know what happened with her early recordings. I'm just imagining it. And it's like, and the session players, they play their electric guitar part, a little clean electric guitar, fill out the verse, whatever. But if you have like a sound or a vision that's really, you're really like unique in the sound that you're kind of chasing or that you have in your head. I have an idea of this delicate balance I want in the tone of the electric guitar here between dirty and clean. And then it's like, if you're going to be like that, then you better really know exactly what you're, how to get those sounds and what you're doing to get those sounds before you come in. And a lot of rock bands really are like that, where they have a very specific sound, and they can't just, it wouldn't make sense for them to just come in with one guy comes in with an acoustic guitar, like, and expects to then expand it into the exact vision he wants. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
yeah.
The things we learn.
Yeah, yeah. It's that's part of like the process, I guess.
Yeah, it would be cool if a young band heard this, or a young musician, because that's what I would say to them is like, know what type you are. Are you a type that your style is conducive to being producer friendly? But if you have a really specific vision, you better have all the parts really figured out and the tone you want with your band before you go in and have, I mean, ideally even down to the exact gear that you're using, because the studio you go to may or may not have the gear you want. And again, if you don't have weeks to experiment in there, because you don't have a huge budget, it's better if you just really have your gear figured out before you even go in.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. With I think anything creative, it's there's just so many possibilities that it's really, really good if you kind of know where, like, have a vision for what you want to do. It just makes it easier for you to work with professionals because, there are professionals out there who don't necessarily want to do their own thing, but they do like to be part of, like, other people's projects. And when they come and sign on to what you're doing, they kind of want to know what your vision is.
Yeah.
That gives them their cue. So yeah,
Well,
it's good advice.
it's interesting because what I've found with that is that they want to know what your vision is, but they also want to have some room to exercise their own way of doing things as well. So it's like it's this kind of dance of like telling them just enough, giving them just enough direction without giving them too much.
Right. Yeah.
Like you don't want to step on their toes and make them feel micromanaged, but you also kind of want to like convey the kind of vision you're going towards. But I don't know. I don't know, maybe it's best to start with the macro and then work down to the micro. Like start with
Always.
you know what I
Always.
mean? Yeah, like
Yeah.
start with with really broad strokes. Like if they're kind of like, what sound are you going for? And I never know what to say to that. I hate that question because it's like, I mean, because what you want to say is like, well, it's my sound. It's like if somebody asks you, Curran, like, what kind of film are you kind of emulating with your script? It's like, I don't know. I tried to write a cool story. Like it's my script. I don't know. But you kind of, if you're going to scale your project larger and increase the production value and all these things and take it through the levels of production, you do come up against these questions.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so, but again, I try to like start with the broadest strokes you can. So like for me, it's like, what do I really know for sure? And you know, I would say now what I know for sure is like if we're talking about really broad strokes in the aesthetic of a sound, I there are kind of two directions you can lean. Again, very broadly speaking, one is the more sort of synthetic or non-organic sound. You can lean that way and have these really polished, kind of rigidly edited like way of it sounding, or in the complete opposite direction is a more kind of warm, maybe even slightly vintagey, but just a warm, organic kind of sound. And what I've found has helped me is to at least know which of those two camps my music belongs in, which
Right.
is definitely that the more warm, organic kind of vibe. And I think when I was really young, I didn't even know that. Like, because, somebody would show me the way something could sound and I'd be like, well, I mean, it does sound good. It's just good to be aware of, because when a producer is like, well, what do you want it to sound like? It's like, well, you don't have to give them an exact band to like copy a sound from, but you do kind you kind of want to know what basic camp you kind of want to be in. And it's like, I would rather be in that sort of alternative or indie camp in terms of my sound, just because I think it's more flattering to the songs or the style, even though there is a part of me that doesn't want to commit or doesn't like to categorize myself at all, in any camp. So yeah, that's like a weird thing about trying to make artistic projects, I guess.
Yeah. It's something that it's not something that you can, like, pick up a book, read, and just be like, okay, I know what I want. It's you have to
Yeah,
kind of, like, do it. And yeah. And what you have in your mind is rarely what first comes out when you start.
yeah,
You
really.
really have to whittle it and make it, something that is, satisfies you. Because usually the first attempt, at least what I've seen, is, while it might satisfy some part of you, it's not usually totally there. So yeah, first drafts are very important, but you should never stop there. And I don't think
Totally.
anybody ever does. Anybody who's truly serious about art never stops at the first draft.
That's the funny thing of like is I mean, again, it goes back to what you and I talked about in a different episode, where it's knowing the balance between perfectionism versus, knowing when to stop. It's like because it's like you talked about your script, like two hits, like I mean, you kind of look back, and I've had this, as I told you, I've had this same exact experience with certain songs, believe me. But
Yeah.
like you look back and you're like, man, I had all these voices coming at me from different directions, like telling me you should do this or do that with it. And then you're like, shoot, at the end of the day, after making some of those revisions and spending time and energy on it, I kind of wanted to just go back to it being a little simpler or being the way it kind of was in the way I had it.
The thing is, I wrote two hits when I was very like just getting started. I didn't really know much, which was kind of nice because it was freeing.
Yeah.
I was just able to enjoy the process. Then came the reality check of like what a good script actually needs, and that put me down to a path of like learning. But like now I think I'm back at a point where I'm just like enjoying it again, because at the end of the day, that's
Awesome.
why you're doing what you do, right? You want to enjoy what you're doing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we can talk more about it another day. I think
Nice.
this
Yeah.
is music was yeah the music is a
Yeah.
good part of it today.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up then.
Yeah,
All right,
let's give
cool.
you a nerdy 1 second.
Yeah. I hadn't heard
Little
that
different
one.
one.
I like
Yeah,
it. No, good choice. I hadn't
little
heard that
different
one in
one.
a while. That was kind of fun. Unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, but thank you all for stopping by to our 20th episode.
20th
And
episode,
here's to
guys.
20 more.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Here's to 2,000 more. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
go
All
ahead
right,
and
dude.
stop this.
We'll see you
Yeah.
later.